All right, so today's journey about being homeless in London, that's what we'll call this, the Homeless in London series. All right, so today I'm going to go talk about myself a little bit here and being homeless. Maybe this will help somebody, and hopefully it will. But you won't believe it or not, but I got 8 years sober. And I'm still homeless in a foreign country. And when I got homeless, I had no desire to go out drinking. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, considering if anybody has drank an alcoholic, it could have got a lot worse. Actually, it could have ended up somewhere else besides a shelter. So that's what I'm grateful for. I am grateful for that because I got sobriety and I got a good foundation of being sober. So, yeah. And the other homeless people that I have met on the streets, they spent months or even years out there. And I got picked up in about 3 or 4 weeks. And I'm going to have to contribute that to being sober, actually. So, I guess the biggest message behind this is that if you go homeless and you're sober, you might be able to rebound really quickly. I mean, like 3 or 4 weeks on the streets in a foreign country, I got into a shelter. I think that's pretty quick, actually. I'm not sure, but it might be. And then I'm going to continue on here. So now that I'm homeless, one of the unfortunate parts is that because I lost access to my bank account, I couldn't make payments to my apartment. So I got evicted from my apartment. I know that because they sent me an email and told me. They even took me to court knowing that it was in London, in the U.S. They're like, hey, yeah, you got court tomorrow. I was like, well, I'm in London. They're like, nobody cares. Okay, whatever. That's fine. I saved money, and so I didn't have to pay rent for the month because I got evicted because. So that's cool. Not really cool, but you know. So the current life shift I'm in, when I was in Poland, they called it "you're under construction," meaning I'm rebuilding. And, you know, when you get sober, you got to rebuild anyway. So I don't know what this is all about. I don't. It's like I'm rebuilding while I'm sober, but I did that 8 years ago when I got sober and I did all that, the 12 steps. So, but we'll find out. We're under construction. Be interesting to see what happens. Um, Needless to say, this is definitely going to be a new chapter. I mean, I'm considering staying in England or going to Germany. I'm half German. I'm thinking about going to Germany. I don't have no reason to actually go back to the U.S. to be honest with you, other than to grab my stuff. I might relocate to another state or another area, but really, it's, it's free. I got nothing. I got nothing. I just got my stuff and collect it and move out. And like, definitely a new chapter. Maybe somewhere that's a little bit more promising for the business, and who knows. Another opportunity I've had is I've been part of the AA steps. Is that I've been reevaluating my relationships with some of my people, and I'm not going to go into that, but some people are more takers than givers, and some of it's my fault, to be honest with you. You know, like sometimes I gave more and sometimes I took more than I should have, and you know, so on and so forth. So this is a great opportunity to reevaluate my connections and see who should stay in my life and who shouldn't. I've had some talks already with some people, But see, like, and I told him straight up, it's like, I'm not doing an inventory. I'm reevaluating our relationship. Pretty much, that's like, in other words, I didn't say this, but it's thinking like, I'm thinking about breaking up with you, man. You know, like maybe we should break up. Maybe this is not a healthy relationship as we think it is. And perhaps that's what the rebuilding part of this chapter of my life is that maybe I need to get rid of my relationships. They say like when you grow, you have to you outgrow your network into better networks. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. God knows. I don't know. And then, that's enough AA talk. So we'll talk for a little bit, I guess. But the biggest thing is that I guess through my journey that I would like to pass to another alcoholic is you don't have to go just because life hits you in the balls. You don't have to go out drinking over it. I mean, go homeless. You probably can rebound a little bit easier than if you hit the bottle again. And I'll tell you one thing I did when I got homeless. The one thing that kept me grounded is I found volunteer work. Believe it or not, I found volunteer work in London. I found it at night, so so I could avoid trouble. And what I would do was I would volunteer. I would volunteer and I cleaned the British Museum's parking lot at night. I'd find stuff like food and other stuff that would get me by the day or two. But at night I would clean the British Museum. So I can write that on my resume. I can write on my resume that I worked at they call it the World's Museum. So on my resume I can say I volunteered at the I volunteered at the World's Museum as cleaning up the parking lot at the World's Museum. Tell you what you want, it's a little nerdy, but man, it's pretty cool. I think it is. Then because I was sleeping at the park, you know, in I don't know if it's in the AA 12 traditions or not, but something like you don't take handouts. So I didn't ever beg for money. I went to food banks or something like that. And just take a moment here. Just keep pushing, just keep pushing. This is one of my, the thing is that this is one of my earlier videos, so I'm not really thinking this is going to be great or a verb, or what's that called? It's not going to be like a one-hit wonder video, so I'm just doing this for practice and maybe helping another alcoholic out. And also work on my own, work on how I present myself in the video. And also this is documentation of how I'm growing between here and there.
I understand you.
Probably hear that guy in the background. You know, that's good, man. We'll end it there. We talked about AA. I'll watch it. Yeah, we'll end it here.